Hello guys, so it's TK here. A friend of mine asked if I can help her with these concrete structures. So she's doing an N6 and this will be helpful if you're doing N5 and N6. You can expect this type of questions in your final exam. So yeah, I'm just trying to help out. Take note, I'm not a perfect teacher, I'm just a good student. So I can only teach what I've been taught. So yeah, without wasting much time, let's get into it. So the first thing that I would like to look at is the elevation. So what's the elevation is basically showing? It's very clear. It shows the basis. This is the concrete basis, and then it shows the binding. The binding is from the concrete base to the ground is basically mostly it's 100. This is 100, and then these long lines that you see here, this is the columns, and then after the columns, this is what you get on the first floor. This is here what you see here. This is the round beam. It's basically the beam, and then here we also got a second floor. It also shows columns and it also shows the round beam. So after looking at the elevation, let's look at the plan foundation. So the plan foundation, this is basically everything that is underground, right? Everything that is underground. So these boxes, these square boxes, these big square boxes that you see here, they represent the concrete bases. If you come here, this is what these boxes are basically representing, the concrete bases. And the small box that you see inside the bigger square box, that is the columns. That is the columns. Remember, if we go back to the elevation, you can see these boxes. These are the bigger boxes on the foundation plan, and these are the smaller boxes on the foundation plan. So these are the bases, and these are the columns. So that is basically what we see here. And then the plan, it also shows us how many bases and how many columns do we have. Here we can see we have got this 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D. So if you count all these together, you would realize that it's 12 of them, and then you will need to take off all of them. So after the plan foundation, you also get the first floor, because as you can see here, this is more like a double-story building. You get the ground floor, and then there is the first floor there, guys, and then there is the second floor. So the first plan that we get, the foundation plan, was basically this area here. This area is the area that is being represented by all these details here. That area, remember, this area is the area that is being represented by all these details here. So now I would like to go and focus on this ground floor area. So this ground floor area, you can as you can see here, it's the ground floor area. This is the plan for the ground floor area. The ground floor area is basically represented by this section here. So this section, the ground floor area, is represented by this this plan here. So what this plan shows, remember, now we are above the ground, we cannot see any bases, but the only thing that we can see is beams and columns and the concrete slab. So the small box that you see there, guys, that is the columns, and these are the beams. It's 280 by 600. And then, guys, we also see the slab. The slab, it's 200 millimeters, and then it's shown by section. Let's look at these sections. So if you look at section AA, this is basically the section that you see. Section AA, you get that beam. That beam is basically 400. It's basically 400, and then the length of it, is 280, as we can see. So this side, it's 600. Why? Because they added a slab. This is the slab. This 200 that you see here is the slab. So the slab plus the beam, it gave us that 600 there. But take note, the beam there, it's 400. So this is basically section AA. If you come to your drawing, that's the section that you see there, the cross section. when the ground plan has been cut in half. Okay, so we also see section BB. This is the section BB, right, guys? Remember, this area is basically the slab. This area, the slab is here, the slab is there, the slab is there, and here there is also the slab plus the beams. So this is where the beams are going to be running at. This is where the beams are going to be running at. The beams, these are all the beams are going to be running at. The beams, and this area, the slab, is also going to be running at that. So let's look at section BB. Section BB is basically this section that you see here. It forms like a T. As you can see here, it forms like a T because this is the beam, and now this is the slab. So if you come and look at section CC, we expect to see the beam and the slab. So section BB, I mean, so this is the beam that you see here, and there on section BB they're telling us that the beam is actually 500, right? The beam is 500, and then the width of the beam is 300, and here the slab is 200. So if you add the slab and the beam, that's why they're giving us that 700 there. So you need to take note that you need to know all that stuff. So yeah, this is basically what the ground floor is showing: beams and slabs and their dimensions. So as you can see, the dimensions for the beams are written in here: 218 by 600. So this 600 would be like the I think like the, what can I say, like the depth of it. And then the 280 will be this part here, and then that 600 will be like the depth of it. But remember, the actual beam is actually 400, but here it only shows 600. Why? Because the slab there is 200. Okay, so we also have got a second floor there. So this is what also the plan for the first floor. Okay, that's the plan for the first floor. So that section here, it's showing us this section here. All right, and then we have got this information that you are given. This is the information that you are going to be using to do all your calculations, guys. You need to take note to do all your calculations. Remember, when you're doing takeoffs, it's the same with foundations. It never changes. You need to do your concrete structure takeoff. You need to clear your site. You need to do your excavations. Remember, here you're doing excavations for halls because you're going to be putting in bases and columns. You need to do your ROC, which is the risk of collapse. You need to do your H2O, which is the water. You need to work out all your concrete, which is the base, column, beam, and slab. You need to do all your formwork. You need to do all your backfill. You need to do all your cutaway. You need to do all your reinforcement. So on the next video, this is what I'm going to be looking at. This is what I'm going to be focusing at, and this is what I'm going to be calculating. But let me just finish on this small box here, so that when we start the next video, you will have an idea of what exactly is going on. So you get the schedule. The schedule. So here it tells you that top of all bases at level 7. So where is the top of our bases? This is the top of our bases. It's what? It's level 7. So let's say you want to get the depth of this. Now you have to say the ground floor level is 8. So for you to get the depth from the top of bases to the ground floor level, you need to say 8 minus 7, and then you get 1 there. So for you to get your total excavation depth, is going to be that 1 there plus this plus the size of the concrete base and the size of the plus the thickness of the concrete base and the thickness of the blinding. So now what this box shows, it shows us all your bases. So all our bases here at top of all bases at level 7, you get 1A, 2A, 3A, 1D, 2D, and 3D. So these are only the bases that we are going to be using this information on, guys. So you have to take note when you do these base 1A, 2A, 3A, 1D, 2D, 3D. This is the information that you are supposed to be using, right? So this here is also another information that you'll be using for other bases. Okay, so let's look at these bases. When they say 1A, 2A, 3A, what bases are they talking about? So they're talking about these bases here: 1A, 2A, 3A, right? And then they also talk about 1D, 2D, 3D. So as you can see, the size of these bases are different from the other bases, is because basically these bases are outside. So I think because they're going to be carrying in more load, that's why they need to be a little bit bigger than the other bases. And yeah, you also get the size of your concrete bases. So this is the size of your concrete bases, 1.1 by 1.1, right? And then you also get the thickness of your concrete bases, which is 450. This is the thickness, 450, and this is the size of your concrete bases, 1100 by 1100 millimeters. And then you get the blinding. The blinding, I did told you that it's 100 millimeters, so that is the blinding. So that's basically all the information that you need to do your taking off. And then this is the first floor. You also get the first floor, level 2, the first floor level 2. So this is the first floor level 2. What is it basically showing? It's showing us the height, right? So that is the height there of our first floor. So for you to get this intermediate height, you need to say that 11.50 minus 8, and then you get the height from there to there. So that is how you get your heights. You use these dimensions to get your height, guys. And you are also given the columns information. Columns are central on bases, and bases are central on grid lines. Okay, so you're given the columns information. So all these columns, they are represented by these dimensions here. So 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 2A, 2, all these, they are all 300 by 300 millimeters. So this is where you get your information. This is the most crucial, the most important box that you need for you to work out all your taking offs. So the next video, I'm just going to be, and then here this information, it shows us the strength of our concrete. This can help you when you're doing your descriptions. Reinforcement concrete in bases, beams and slabs, 20 MPa. Reinforced concrete in columns, 30 MPa. This is additional information when you're doing your descriptions. And mass concrete in blinding, 10 MPa. Yeah, so this is basically the whole set, guys. And then the next video, I will do all the calculations for all this information. But this is very informative for you to know exactly what you will be looking at before you start doing your calculations. Thank you for your time.